In a truly landmark decision, the Supreme Court gave a victory to former President Donald Trump. Hello, I'm Steve Eager.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes. In a 6-3 decision, the conservative majority ruled former presidents have some immunity from prosecution for official acts in office, but no immunity for unofficial acts. The High Court said lower courts will now have to decide what is and what isn't official conduct. So that means there's almost no chance Donald Trump will go to trial for the January 6th case before the upcoming presidential election. Fox 4's Sean Rabb in studio with more. Sean.
What a big day. The justices answering a question never posed before ruled presidents have immunity from their acts while in office, and former presidents have some immunity from prosecution for official acts, but not individual acts. So where's the dividing line? That part's not clear yet. What is clear is that immediately it's harder to take a former president to court for what he may have done while commander-in-chief.
It definitely tells everybody for generations to come it's a very serious thing to prosecute a former president, and there's a lot of hoops you've got to jump through.
Former President Donald Trump maintained he had absolute immunity for official actions he took as president, including in the run-up to the January 6th Capitol riot and his attempts to overturn the 2020 election. The majority of justices said he has absolute immunity for official actions while president and some immunity as former president. But the court did not define the differences. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, reading her opinion from the bench, said, quote, "Our Constitution does not shield a former president from answering for criminal and treasonous acts," writing, "The majority created an unjustifiable immunity." Chief Justice John Roberts, writing the majority opinion, said, quote, "The president is not above the law," adding, "But Congress may not criminalize the president's conduct in carrying out the responsibilities of the executive branch under the Constitution." 6 of the justices consider any conversations with the Department of Justice by Trump shielded from prosecution. David Becker is director of the Center for Election Innovation and Research.
That could be interpreted, and in fact, I think it will be interpreted to mean any communications or interactions with the executive branch writ large. That could include the Department of Homeland Security, the Treasury, even the Department of Defense and the military.
Which means he believes any future president attempting to hold on to power
could interact and order and discuss things with anyone within the executive branch, and even if the underlying behavior was criminal, he would be immune from prosecution.
The ruling rips part of Special Prosecutor Jack Smith's case of election subversion against Mr. Trump.
Well, the immediate effect is to drop out allegations about Donald Trump conspiring with members of the Justice Department.
Constitutional attorney David Cole, on Good Day, analyzing the court's opinion, says a lower federal court has to decide what is and isn't official conduct.
Then if it's official action on the outer limits of the president's authority, key words, the government has to overcome a presumption, has to make sort of an extra showing that it's fair to proceed with the prosecution even though it involves governmental action. That's a little bit uncharted. We haven't had that framework before. It's a new thing. Of course, this is a new kind of prosecution, and it's going to take the lower courts a while to kind of work through all that.
It certainly means there will be no trial in this case against Donald Trump before the November 5th election. On his social media today, Mr. Trump called it a big win for democracy and the Constitution. The Biden-Harris campaign, also on social media platforms, said the court's ruling doesn't change the facts, that Donald Trump snapped after he lost the election and encouraged a mob to overthrow the results of a free and fair election.